getting into the third part, which is how do you get what you really want? And I think this is where it gets really interesting now. What would you say with everything that we've already discussed? So we're assuming that everyone who watches this video now has watched the first and the second part because it's all building up to this now. How do you get what you really want? And I think we already established that the thing that you really want is not the women, it's not the careers, it's not a lot of money. It's actually the okayness, the feeling at peace and being completely free, no matter the situation you're in, by yourself, with other people. What is discomfort that's constantly coming up inside of you that you can't even fully pinpoint? It's just there that you're trying to run from. So how can we deal with that? How can we get to a place of real peace, real okayness, real freedom? All right, super quick before we dive into today's content. If you are looking to become a truly high value man, if you want to become the best version of yourself as a man, the highest potential you can possibly reach in this human form, and you also want to have amazing relationships with other people, with women in particular, if you want to learn how to have thriving, healthy, passionate, deeply fulfilling relationships, then don't forget to subscribe below this video, hit the notification bell so that whenever we post a new video, you will directly be notified. And also like this content if you enjoy it, right? If this resonates with you. And then don't forget to leave a comment, anything that you find valuable, anything you want to share from your own personal experience, post it below the video and I'll be sure to check it out and respond to you. And then lastly, we do have an exclusive Facebook group, which is also linked somewhere below this video. Go check it out, join the Facebook group. I'll be doing exclusive live calls on there where I'll be sharing some of the most transformational tools that have helped me on my journey, that have helped Leo on his journey, and obviously a lot more stuff that I'll be discovering that I'll be sharing with you only inside the Facebook group. So without further ado, enjoy, and I'll see you there. Peace.
I don't think there is a one-way street for everyone. I don't think that's the reality. I can't come here to you and say to you, do this and this and this, because I did that, and that's what led me to be more aligned to myself, to be in this place where I still have many things to learn, I still have many things to improve, of course, but I'm not seeking it, and I'm dealing with them in the moment. But I can't just say, oh, you do the same things that I did, and you're going to get there. I don't think you will. But I think there are a few points and a few specific topics that can really help to get you there. So one of these concepts and ideas, I would call it, is the presence and the awareness that is usually correlated to being in the moment. So the now, this super mainstream words that we have now, being in the now and whatever it is. So that's one thing that I think can have a good impact, because you start being so caught up in what your mind is giving you. And you start trying to act more, I'm going to use this word, trying to act more in alignment to what is concrete for you in the moment. But when that's a problem, because there are so many things that you are not aware, not even your mind is aware, that you are constantly repeating, and behaviors that you have, that just being in the now is not enough, because you can be in the now forever, repeating the same mistakes over and over. So that's when we go to the second topic that I think is also important. As much as I like to push away the spirituality and all of that, blah, 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 but doesn't need to be just the spiritual part of it. It can be like more the psychology part of it, or psychology of the shadow work, of understanding the things, the traumas, the ingrained things that you're not even aware of that are in the way. So you are acting in the now, but you don't realize that you are pushing, that you punch people in the face every time they say that you are an asshole, because when you were younger, that happened to your mother when she was talking to your father. And now you just don't even know that you have this, and you just repeat. It's a stupid example, but by now you guys should be more than aware that I give stupid examples all the time. So that's the second thing. So one, the presence. Second, understanding things, the triggers. You usually know the traumas by the triggers. And that's when you try to uncover that, do the shadow work, reincorporate the shadows, all of that. So that's a second point. I think also an important point is to have, either if it's a coach, guru, whatever, it's a group of friends that really impact you well, is to have people that is able also to help you in this path, that are not afraid to tell you the things that you need to hear and that are getting in the way of, let's say, your experience in this life. So I have a group of friends that they are not afraid to tell me, Leo, the thing that you're saying right now, it's really negative. You're just pushing everyone down in the group right now by saying this. I think you should reconsider these ideas that you're trying to promote here. And then I get super triggered and I'm like, who do you think you are to tell me all of this shit? Really? Do you know who I am? Do you know who the fuck I am? And then 5 minutes pass by and I'm like, yeah, they were right. They were right. I need to work on that. And I need to understand why that, also the fact that I'm not being perfect, triggered me so much. And I can adapt. I think a group of friends, an environment, and healthy environment, relationship-wise, is also really important. Because that helps you to bring a strong foundation. So here we have 3 points. We might have more. It's a difficult question. I'm going to tell you that. It's a difficult question to answer for a general, bigger group. But let's stick for now with these 3 points. And then you can also share a little bit of what do you think.
I think there's a caveat to what you were saying with the friends and even relationships, other people, because even though sometimes they may say something to you and then it triggers you, and like, it's the main thing that we need to look for in that is, do they have a level of awareness where they can see more than we can? That should be the telltale sign. If they can see more than we can, awareness-wise, and we just compare these two now, like you have an increased sense of, like a higher sense of awareness, like more awareness or less awareness. So if they have less awareness, then I actually wouldn't be listening to these people, because then a lot of what they're doing too is they're just projecting stuff onto you. So maybe they don't like something, maybe the whole group doesn't like something. And especially if you're going through this process now where you're trying to make a change on the causal level, like you're trying to change the first domino, then a lot of people around you, like your old friend circle, may have to change, because they were used to you wearing all these masks and bringing all this conditioning in, and that's what they resonated with. So maybe they get very triggered, all of them at the same time, by something you say. And then it's important to see, can you see as clearly as possible what the right thing is in that decision? Maybe it is to continue sticking to what you were just saying. Maybe it is to move, like to change your perspective. Maybe you get a new insight from that. But in a lot of cases, this is something to be aware of. Now, the way I would describe this, the first thing that we need to make this change is commitment. We need to commit to wanting to take full responsibility for our life. If we don't have that, nothing is going to happen. Then you will keep looking for all these little solutions out there. Work on your voice, do this, go to the gym 5 times a week so you look jacked, and think then you get the woman. And when you get the woman, you realize it wasn't even about the woman. So the first thing is commitment to taking full responsibility for your life. And that in itself means you're not going to shy away from discomfort. You're not going to shy away from the things that are not going to work out for you. You're not looking for the quick improvements. And then the second thing is the awareness to see all the discomfort that is currently in your body that is coming up. We need to increase our awareness to see all the stuff that's continuously flaring up that we usually either sedate or try to control with various things, including women, smoking weed, alcohol, watching TV. And don't get me wrong, there's stuff for me that's coming up right now, even on this call, and I'm just being with it as much as I can. And at other times, I'm just by myself and stuff is coming up, right? And then that discomfort, we get to choose. We can have a choice. Either we sedate it and we numb it and we control it, or we actually feel through it. We actually integrate it. And for that, we need the awareness to even see that it's coming up. And that's why I'm saying, if we have the map of, I want things to get better, I want things to improve, then we miss the point. Because we want things to get more chaotic, because that is a sign that we're seeing more of what's actually already there all the time. That we've just been really good at pushing away so much that we didn't even see it anymore. So that's the second thing. And then the third thing is actually to integrate it as much as possible. And we really have to, the biggest piece is we have to change the compass or the map that we're using. It's the biggest piece. It's really wanting to go into discomfort, not from a place of like, I like to beat myself up more, but from a place of, I know only the way through this discomfort will truly liberate me. It's the only way. And there's a process, and obviously if you're looking into like how to walk through this whole thing, that's something that I do with my clients right now, like for basically 9 months. So it's a process. It's not a quick fix, like you said, but that's the thing that truly creates permanent liberation. And then it's like, really, that's why I said before, I want to share more about the discomfort that I'm feeling, because these things are going to come up. This is stuff that's from my childhood, from like super early stages. That's stuff from my parents, from my parents' parents that I've inherited, that they basically passed down to me, that I'm now going through. And that's why sometimes this journey feels very isolating too, because like people change like around you, you don't resonate with them anymore, and you feel like, I'm so dysregulated all the time. Like I need to take the space for myself to even be okay. And that's why we also have tools then to give you to really regulate yourself when the processing or the integration becomes so crazy, like wreaks real havoc in your life, you know, to deal with it and to really integrate it and source yourself. So those are the things, like first the commitment, then we need the awareness, and then we also need the tools for the actual integration. And the main thing with the integration is really, can we feel it? Can we be with it unconditionally? That is the main thing, right? Or do we become unconscious again? Like we leave the present moment and we get sucked into unconsciousness. We think about the future, we think about the past, right? And we can't stay here anymore. And then we try to cover it up again. So we're constantly playing this game of just cover up, like whack-a-mole. That's kind of like what we're doing. It's like whack it, boom, it pops up in another place. Whack it, pops up in another place. That's what we're doing our whole lives. So if we want the permanent solution, even if that takes like 9 months or a year or 3 years, this is all very unique to your particular condition. And that's why we can't go more specific here, because it is very unique to you, right? But if that's something you want, then reach out to us. There should be a link somewhere below this video where you can book a call directly, or first join the Facebook group and then reach out to me via the DMs. But that is the path. And then once you've gone through that, once you've actually integrated these things, then you can go out and talk to women. Then it's no longer you trying to pick up women for a sense of approval or validation or giving yourself attention. It's like you can really meet a woman for the woman that she is. And so all of us, we should just like make that resolution and be like, okay, the next couple of years, I'm going to spend just on that. That will set me free for the rest of my life. All these other things, like trying to get a good career, like really ask yourself, why are you doing it? Why do you want that career? Why do you want that car? Why do you want the woman? Why do you want this, the status? It's all there to cover up this discomfort. That's the thing. And most of us, we don't realize it. And as a result, we're just working, like the way I described it to my clients is there's the projector down here and there's the movie screen. And all we're doing, most of us, is just trying to move things around on the movie screen. But nothing can move around there. We can try as hard as we want. We can control as much as we want. Sooner or later, it's going to change again. We can't permanently change it. The only way to permanently change it is to change what's being projected from the projector onto the wall, onto the movie screen. That is the only way. So we have to realize, what does it really mean to create authentic movement in our experience? Because most of us, we think that just means to be ourselves. And to be ourselves is really just, you are a conditioned human being. So you're just acting out your conditioning. So being yourself is not going to help you here. We have to go beyond that. That is the only way to create permanent change. And frankly, yeah, I feel really uncomfortable most of the time right now in my day-to-day life. And it's something like I felt this lack of transparency with you, with my clients even, where I just want to share more of that because I want to show you this is the right way. That shows you something is happening. If everything was peachy perfect with me right now, then you should be fucking concerned. Really.
I think it's perfect that you said that about commitment. Yeah, it's funny because you start telling things and you start like, oh yeah, that's, wow, I can remember that. Oh yeah, this, oh. And it's so vivid to me. I remember I just had stopped working with this dating coach, and I felt that I was like so good at dating, approaching, and doing all of that. But I always had like this strong feeling of being a fraud, this strong feeling of, oh, I'm a fraud. I can actually do that. The times that it worked is just because it was lucky. And then I just entered in this relationship, right? And I could feel that I was just trying to avoid having to meet new people. And it was easier for me to just settle down. And then this relationship ended. And for me, it was painful the moment that it ended, because I was running away from a bigger problem and I couldn't even properly run away from that. And I felt like, oh, really? This one person that I didn't even think was like the greatest one. So even this person doesn't want me? What the fuck? No. And that like crushed my ego. And I remember it was winter, and winter for me is the fucking worst. Well, back in the days were, nowadays not so much, because, you know, vitamin D, take your vitamin D. And I was with my friend in the living room, and it was so painful. I can remember it was so painful. I think I also had COVID or some shit like that. So plus that, and depressed. And I was like, you know what, man? I'm tired of lying to myself. I'm gonna call things for what it is. And right now, I'm fucking afraid. I'm fucking afraid for being a fraud. I'm fucking afraid of not being able to talk to chicks anymore. I'm fucking afraid of not developing a relationship, minimum relationship for me. I'm afraid because I have no fucking money. I'm afraid because the rent is due and we need to pay this shit and I don't have money for this shit. I'm afraid of everything. I'm afraid that I'm sick right now and all of that. And that was, it's still strong to me, and it's also strong to my friend that was with me on that day. He still talks about that with me, because it was a really, really vulnerable place, but not with him, not with my ex, not with my family, not with other people. It was a really vulnerable moment with myself. I was finally open up to myself and being like, I don't know what to do. You know, I don't know what to do. I don't know where to go, but let's stop lying to ourselves. Let's commit to this, that we are not lying to ourselves anymore. And whatever we have to do, we're gonna do it. Because we are done with lying. We are done with running away.
Dude, this is powerful. And I think this is exactly showing. That's why, you know, when we pick these coaches that we work with, even like these pickup coaches, like that's the stuff. We came from pickup. We coach people like picking up girls. Like we've done this like in big companies, you know, and then seeing like this is how we truly felt underneath it. Like really feeling like I'm not good enough. And so the question is like, how do other people truly feel? Other coaches out there? Are they willing to share this? Because everybody tries to show their best side, and I want to fucking rip that thing apart and just be like, this is who I really am. This is how I'm feeling. Like I'm sweating. I feel so uncomfortable because all the shit is finally coming up and I get a chance to deal with it. So I want to share this with you. And it may not look like success at first sight. Only when you go through this process and you really listen to what we're talking about, this will make sense. But I know I can't hide these things and I don't want to hide them anymore. This is really, like you said, a vulnerable moment with ourselves to say, this is where we really are. And we have to give up that image of like, ooh, I'm this coach, because it's all related to the same thing. Like trying to hold on to control, like, this is me. Like we so don't want to go into the uncertainty and into the unknown. But that is the place, like the surrendering, that will set, the truth will set us free.